Hello, this is kind of silly, but let me do a check-in with the Tndr Sht by Colette. I am only reading one short story. It is only 40 pages long. I am halfway through it, and I figured I'd just do a little reaction at this point in the story. This isn't gonna be one of my videos, I don't think, that I'll release. Probably me saying that is a good thing. But uh Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita has definitely come to mind, and I'm really curious to see when this story was written, because it tells the story of this fellow, um, which she actually at the narrator, the Claudette narrator at the Colette narrator at the thing says, let's call him Chavarat, Chavarat, Albin Chavarat. So she's already like, and that's maybe the kind of the first key thing there of like, oh, we're not going to give out this guy's real name, because it turns out he's revealing one of his devices, his secrets, which is that he likes to seduce, it seems, young girls. He is definitely he's in his 50s, prematurely white, and this story seems to be about him meeting this young country girl, in Louisette, in on a vacation in the country, and him seems to be slowly trying to, like, he's trying to give her gifts, she won't get gifts, and he's trying to kind of weasel his way in there to seduce this little girl, this girl of 15, and indeed saying, and indeed saying, getting like, you know don't be in too much of a hurry to judge me, and above all, to pity the tender ewe lamb. At 15, or even less, they threw a princess to a heir apparent, probably an innocuous young man. Queens were married at 13. To search even higher than thrones for my justification, do I have to remind you what Juliet meant at 15 by hearing the nightingale? If my memory does not deceive me, didn't you tell me that at 16 you yourself fell madly in love with a bald man of 40 who looked twice that age? I think I'm using your very words. Old boughs for tender shoots, as our fathers used to say with genial lechery. I claim indulgence, at least your indulgence, considering that, with a few exceptions, I've been mad about tender shoots nearly all my life, without withering one of them or making her produce another shoot. So I will now continue a story you brought on yourself, and I shall lower neither my eyes nor my voice. So it's a Hubert Humbert kind of character. That's the monster, the monster who is preying on Dolores in Lolita. It's very much that kind of a creature who is telling the story to what seems to be like, it's a stand-in for Colette. Colette indeed did fall in love, or have, and married a an older family friend, Willie, who was her first editor and actually took credit for her books as she went along. But it seems to be telling that story. It's interesting that we're getting, every once in a while we'll get the notes of her reactions to the story. Though at the beginning, I think she says something about like, oh, there's plenty of young girls here. I know you like young girls. So there's a little bit of enabling going on in there. But he obviously also there feels defensive. And yeah, we get that old bows for tender shoots, which is the Tndr Sht. But and the really gross stuff of like, I like them. I don't make them wither. I don't get them pregnant by making her produce another shoot. It's he obviously thinks he doesn't. I shall lower neither my eyes nor my voice. So he is unrepentant in this recollection of a of this time in the country that I think was 19 years previous. He is definitely an old man by this point. He is in or near his 70s at this point. So yeah, Yeah, that is where I am. That is the story I have gotten myself into that I'm going to deep, deep dive into. But I figured I just kind of start out with that. I'm just gonna reading it through, not underlining or making any notes. What I'll do is I'm gonna read it through once, get the whole story in my head, and then I'm going to go back and there's stuff like the Juliet in there. There's other other references. There's the place where the story is set. All that sort of stuff. I'm going to kind of try and go through and come up. And actually, I should go back to Matt Wall's original video where he was talking about that and see if what he said about like different ideas for videos, and see if within the just the comment section if other people came up with various ideas. I, Matt is probably like, you're just doing some French literary chicks work about a Lolita story, which is like, ugh. But you know, it's interesting, and I've requested one book from the library on Colette, and I have downloaded a sample of another biography of Colette. I'm going to try and figure out when the actual story was published, because it would be really handy to say, oh, it was published then, and Nabokov's story, which is obviously kind of, it seems to be like it's a very one-to-one kind of comparison here, when was it published, and yeah, see if I can just have a little bounce back and forth on that as well. So yeah. Well, there's lots to talk about. Yeah, I gotta like that. There's lots to talk about. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.